You are watching Wide Field with Vivian Birchall. This is Wide Field.
Welcome to Wide Field. I'm Vivian Kobusingye Birchall, your host. My guest is Dr. Maher Zahar, an orthodontist, sports dentist that is in the Republic of Tunisia, in the Magreb region of North Africa. He is the president of the Tunisian Society of Sports Dentistry. He's also a member of the French Academy of Dental Surgery and the executive committee of the International Federation of Medicine and a member of the Confederation of African Football Medical Commission. He's also a member of the American Association of Orthodontists. Dr. Zahar, welcome to the show.
Thank you and welcome. It's my pleasure to be with you today.
Well, first of all, tell us more about your work. How long have you worked in your profession and what inspired you to pursue this career?
I am a young professional. I work from more than 30 years in my fields in orthodontics. And I work in private practice. I'm working in the area of the university for 12 years. And now I am an international expert in sports dentistry. It's a new area, it's a new field. No many body work in this field, but it's a field with a big growth for the future.
In your line of work, what are some of the similarities within the organization that you work for or represent?
The goal is the same. In orthodontics, we work on the well-being and on the health care of patients. In sports, we work on the well-being and on the health care of players and actors of competition and game. So all of us work to have better health for the athletes. And when we have better health for athletes, we have better games and we have better growth for this sport. The football is not a sport. The football is maybe a religion or something like this. And in Africa especially. So that's why working in this area in Africa is very interesting.
Right, which takes me to the next question. I would like to, ask you, how would you describe the relationship between sports and the people of Africa and even around the world?
So I think the specificity of people of Africa is the passion. We don't do anything without passion. We need to do it because we love it. We need to do it because it's our very interesting field, and we do it with colleagues, with family, so it's the same case for sports and for football especially. The football is in Africa not only a sport, but also it's a subject of discussion between the member of the family. It's the area who take all the children many hours a day for play or when they stay out of the house. And also it's a big political field in Africa. The football is not only a sport, it's a big, and I think that's why the football have a big growth in Africa and need to be more important in the future, because many persons like football and we have a big group of high-level athletes who can take the football in in good area.
For our viewers, just to clarify, the football we're talking about is soccer, not the American football.
No, yes, sure. Yes, it's soccer. It's not the American football. No. In Africa, we play soccer. Yes, yes, yes.
Which takes me right into the next question. The 2021 Africa Cup of Nations, which was previously scheduled for this year in June and July, has been rescheduled to January 9th until February 6th of 2022 in Cameroon. So what role did COVID-19 play in this decision? And how has COVID-19 impacted your work at the Federation?
I think all of us don't have the same situation before this pandemic. We don't work in the area of pandemic, and we don't work in the area of COVID-19 before these years. For us in Africa, we stopped the football last year in March 2020. We stopped definitively the practice of football, and we stopped the competition. So for more than 6 months, no international competition was done in Africa, and no matches were done. So it's the first field. The second field, I think, for the African Cup, it's very important to have in same times the support, the public. So having games without public, without supporters, it's good, but it's not the passion of football in Africa and what we are waiting from the African Cup. So having this cup in January of 2022, maybe we can have not all the stadium like before, but between 20 or 30% of the public in the stadium, and it's very important. It's very important for us, for the public, but it's also very important for the economic impact of football. So we need to organize. In same times, I think, maybe, we hope that in January, the pandemic will be less than now and less than in June. It's our hope we may, but for us, but for the COVID member of the Commission of Medical in the CAP, we organized all the protocol to protect the health of the athletes, to protect the health of all the actors of the games, and to permit to the games to have a regular competition without any impact on the health, without any health problem. That is the aim of our working and the goal of our working.
Yeah. Before I get into some details of what exactly generally does the Federation do, you mentioned something about the economic impact of football in Africa or in Tunisia. Can you tell us more about that impact?
But today the football have many revenues from the TV, many revenues from the marketing, many revenues from the players who use their picture to promote football. And the African Cup is with the high level players in Africa who normally play in the big team in Europe, who come back to Africa and play with their nation, with their national team. The African Cup, it's very important. It's also one of the big opportunity for the federation and for the states organizer to sell the marketing picture and to sell the TV records, and it's very important. So if we need the growth of football, of soccer in Africa, we need also to market this competition. And without market, I can't, this competition don't live many times. So it's what I said, the economic impact of soccer in Africa.
Yeah, and speaking of economic impact, we are reading that Morocco's state-owned carrier, the Royal Air Maroc, has it stopped flights in Tunisia and different countries, Germany, France, Spain, Italy. It's not just Air Maroc that has been interrupted by COVID. There are other airlines that have been impacted. So in your opinion, what has been the impact of air travel on sports in general?
It's a big impact. In period of COVID, it's a big impact. I have realized the control of COVID for about 20 games from September to today, and all the teams fly with single plane, without, not in commercial flight, in special flight, because there is no connection between the city in Africa now due to the COVID. And it's also very important that the company can't work during the period of African Cup. It's very important. It's important for public, but it's also important for all the emergency fact and all you have to travel with the responsible of the African Confederation, you have to travel with the referees, you have to travel with the medical commission, you have to travel with some other organizer like security service and many other marketing company, and without traveling and without traveling like we have before the pandemic, it's become more difficult for the organizers to prepare the African Cup.
And what has this pandemic taught you about preparedness, and what best practices will you and the organizations that you represent implement going forward, just to be able to mitigate the impact of epidemics and pandemics in the future?
I think for us now, it's the first time we have a pandemic. So all of us have a new area and learn new protocol.
Yeah.
But for the future, I think the most important fact is to begin with a very closely program when we can apply it from the beginning of the pandemic. We lose for this pandemic some weeks in the beginning because we don't have a strategy, we don't have any approach. We stopped football for a few weeks because we don't have the protocol to apply it against the pandemic. Now I think for the future, we have the experience of this pandemic and we can work better. But in same times, this pandemic give us the opportunity to have another approach. Before, our approach was to have all our action focused on the games. Now, I think we try to have all our action focused on the actors of the games, on players, on referees, on doctors, on trainer, on media staff, and this is very different. This is for us, and I think this approach will change in many other areas in the world. We make more attention to the human facts in our working than before.
What is the future for sports post this pandemic, in your opinion, and not just in Africa, but in the world in general post COVID?
Sure, we assist to big change for sure, but the change not concern the practice of sports. The change concern the fact that around the world with this pandemic, we exchange information with many persons, with many staffs, with many experts, and we have collect a big information, information. So this information after the pandemic will give us the opportunity to grow, to prepare ourselves for the future, to change our methodology of training, to change our methodology of medical following. I think with this pandemic, the following of athletes in the medical area will change. We realize with this pandemic that we need to have a big records of the health situation of the athletes. We don't have it before. Now we need to do it. Maybe not for only the high level athletes, only for the big number of athletes to have the ability to prevent all the disease in good times and in good moment. This, I think, is a big change. And for me, the big change will be the ability of the working in the area of sport to exchange information between them. It's the big change I look after the pandemic.
Right. Thank you, Doctor, for that insight, because as an expert in sports medicine, I think it's very important for us to hear from you, especially about possible strategies going forward for the sports industry. What exactly do you guys do at the both the Confederation of African Football and also the FIMS?
Yes. It's two big structure of sports medicine around the world, but with two goals very different. The International Federation of Sports Medicine need to help of scientific approach of the sports medicine in the world. So they help the researcher, they help the team, they do many courses, they implement some medical center. So they help the implementation of sports medicine around the world, and the implementation of sports medicine closely to the big team and to the big city of players and of sports. The African Confederation of Football is not, it's a continental structure who have the responsibility of football in Africa. So the aim of her action is the growth of football in Africa and the growth of the big sports in the world in Africa, one of the most populated country and one continent, and the continent with a high number of practitioners of football. So the role is very important, and the role is to continue in this area and to take some news practitioner football and some news players into their responsibility.
Dr. Zahar, it's been a pleasure hosting you today to chat about the effects of the pandemic on the sports industry, specifically in Africa, in Tunisia. Thank you for being my guest today.
Thank you for your invitation. It's my pleasure, and it's my pleasure to speak with you about football and Africa.
Right, and I hope to host you again in the future, in near future, to talk
You're
more.
welcome. You're welcome.
And to our viewers, if you want to watch more of the Whitefield episodes, you can check out our playlists on the ActonTV YouTube channel. And you can also write to me at vivian.birchall@actontv.org. Thank you for watching Whitefield. Till next time.